Good morning, everybody. The Rev here. You got it. Time for a cup of coffee with Jesus. Thanks for stopping by. Some good Rwandan again this morning. Good coffee. Going to dive into the Word a little bit this morning. I was reading in Psalms 143. Man, it's so good. Because when you hear David cry out, the anguish that he has sometimes and the victories that he's feeling at times and the lowliness that it's like the Psalms are something we can really relate to in everyday life. But it's Psalms 143, and when you get down to verse 10, it says, "Teach me to do your will, for you are my God." He didn't say, teach me to do the right thing. He said, teach me your will. It says, "Let your good spirit lead me on level ground. For the sake of your name, O Lord, revive me. In your righteousness, bring my soul out of trouble. And in your loving kindness, cut off all my enemies and destroy all those who afflict my soul. For I am your servant." He's saying here, he said, I'm your servant, Lord. Teach me what your will is, and so I can walk in it with your righteousness, and you're going to lead me through all these things. But when it says, cut off my enemies and destroy all those who afflict my soul, big part of the time, huge percentage, most of the time, it's us, it's self that is inflicting our soul. I think David really is saying here, he said, cut off those things in me that aren't of you, Lord. Cut those off. Cut my bad decisions off. Cut my bad attitude off. Cut the things that afflict my soul. Because what afflicts your soul a lot of times is when you are in the quiet, still places and you have to think about your decisions, the things that you said you would do that you didn't do, the things that you made promises to that haven't come through. They afflict your soul. Yes. Spirit of self is a big deal. Spirit of self is what gets in our way most of the time, because it's our self-loathing, our self-doubt, our unawareness of self. When you meet somebody that says they talk openly about what they're struggling with, that's somebody that knows their self-awareness is really big. If you don't ever apologize, if you're always the victim and you're never the one that's causing the issue, if it's always turned around to where somehow you're the victim in it, you don't have good self-awareness. And those are the things that afflict our soul. And David was making this statement here. He says, teach me to do your will, Lord, for you are my God. He says, I'm standing in the area of you being the master of my life, and teach me to do what your will is in everything. And he says, and let your good spirit lead me on level ground. Level my life out. Not let me have so many highs and lows, because I can't take the quiet times. I've done videos before about being still before the Lord. If you cannot be still by yourself, in quiet, no music playing, and you cannot be still before the Lord by yourself, uninterrupted, that's a good indicator that there's something going on inside of you. Because it's in the quiet times that the Lord speaks the loudest. Because if we get quiet before the Lord, just like David's saying here, teach me to do your will. You don't get taught to do his will usually in the crowd. You don't get taught to do his will driving all over the place with your radio playing and on the phone talking to people. His will doesn't get taught to you in those times. His will gets taught to you in the quiet times. Go back and look at some of my other videos about being still before the Lord and learning to do a brain dump, a mind dump, and how to clear your mind. so you can be still before the Lord, so he can teach you to do his will. Because ultimately, that's what we desire. I desire is to do his will. Because if he's in my heart, and it says, out of the abundance of my heart, my mouth speaks. Out of the abundance of him in my heart, my mouth speaks. When I speak from my brain, not always so good. And in your loving kindness, cut off my enemies and destroy all those who afflict my soul, for I am your servant. If you're the one afflicting your soul, cut off yourself and get in alignment with his will. I hope you guys have a great day. Psalms 143, verse 10 through 12. Read it for yourself. Read it in other translations. Read it in the Passion Translation. It's even more powerful. He's just good, people. His word is good. He is good. And we serve a mighty God. And Jesus loves you. Therefore, I love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. You guys have a great day. Goodbye.